All right, you beautiful people, it is June 2021. We're taking a look back at what happened in May 2021. The weather is great. It's beautiful. Summer is definitely here. We're almost at solstice. So if you're looking at buying, selling, or investing in real estate in Ottawa, take a look at this content we're talking about. At first, we're going to talk about month combined. Next, we're going to talk about the residential market. And lastly, we'll get into the condo market at the end. If there's something you want to skip ahead to, feel free. But as always, like and subscribe for more of this content, and we'll just jump right in. So month combined, if we look at May, what happened in Ottawa, we went up by 71% in terms of number of sales, but the average price went up by 32.5%. Of course, we sold so many more units because in 2020, we were locked down. We really didn't know how to get our feet under us in terms of selling houses. But the average price point going up by 32%, of course, is par for the course so far this year. We actually have less inventory than we had last year, but you can see that slow creep happening, okay? In April 2021, we had about 100 more properties than we had in March, and now we've got about 300 more properties in May than we had in April. So the inventory is starting to creep up versus month over month, although it still looks like it's less when you talk about year over year. What does all that mean in terms of inventory? It's definitely still a seller's market. We've got less than a month's worth of inventory. All right, you can see the number of sales and the number of inventory there. So it's still definitely a hot seller's market. If we look at combined year to date, where we sit at the end of May, we sold a total of 9,323 properties. Again, that's an increase of 64.5%. But you remember, in April and May in 2020, we sold about half of what we would typically sell in those given months. But, and again, the average price has gone up by 32%. Okay, that's a drastic increase considering last year the average price of a house in Ottawa went up by 20%. So we've got 20%, and as I said in my El Predicto, 30% this year. We're going to talk about a doubling in about 2 years in property prices in Ottawa. Okay, we actually sold less houses in May 2021 than we did in 2017 and 2017, 18, and 19. Obviously, we sold more than we did in 2020, but that lockdown, the uncertainty, all of the time that parents are having to spend with their families, with kids not being in school, and the hectic real estate market, this uncertainty, all of these are factors as to why we probably sold less houses in May 2021 than we were sort of expecting given the numbers that we saw for April. Okay. However, if we break it down into two different sections, we've got the residential section and the condo section. The residential section drives about 3/4 of our market. So you can see there the number of sales, again, has gone up by 67.4%. Last month, for example, that number was about 150% more sales. So we were expecting to see more sales in May just based on the trends, but I think that was offset by a great April that we had last year. The average price you can see there has gone up by 35.2%. And again, the inventory is still much less than same period last year. But when you compare it to April 2021, so last month, again, you can see that delta of about 200 more residential properties available at the end of May. What that means in terms of inventory, in terms of absorption rate, is that we've got 0.79 months of inventory. Still a very strong seller's market, just not as strong as we'd seen earlier this year. So something to pay attention to as we move forward. Year to date, like you can see, we've sold 63.2% more residential properties, and the average price has gone up by 34.8%. My prediction at the beginning of the year, residential market would go up by about 30%, and this is exactly what we're seeing. Nobody else in Ottawa, I don't know, made that call in terms of the growth rate that Ottawa would see this year. In terms of the notes, the inventory is beginning to creep up, which is something we've all been asking for. Okay, the imbalance of our market is crazy. However, all the fundamentals are still there for a strong seller's market in the near future. There, as much new houses come up for sale, there's still more people that want homes than there are homes for them to buy and or to live in. So if we look at the condo world, you can see the number of condos that we sold has gone up by 85.3%, and the average price has gone up by 23.6%. Inventory-wise, we've got more condos for sale, okay? And we've got more than we had in May 2020, and we've got more than we had in April 2021. So there's that creep effect, okay? It's headed back up. We saw the same thing in fall 2020, where the average number of condos available for sale started to creep, and it started to have a bit of an impact on pricing. Still definitely a seller's market in the condo world, and again, that's really being driven by the two-story condos are driving up the price. So the sort of garden homes versus the one-level apartments are really driving the number of sales. So you can see the number of sales there year to date is 67.2% more. The average price of a condo has gone up by 20.6%. So really great things happening. And again, more units are coming onto the market. We're certainly selling a lot more condos because I think a lot of the people who were originally going to be buying a residential house are now moved down into the condo market to maintain their expenses, their monthly expenses. But with the increased inventory comes the potential for the prices to level out a little bit. So something to pay attention to as we move forward throughout the rest of the year. So this is a real quick snapshot about what's going on in the month of May 2021 in real estate in Ottawa. If you guys would like any more information, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Of course, as always, my cell phone number, 613-314-3187. And until then, Sty Fire out.